Alright, so you're welcome to today's tutorial. So we're going to begin with the sum function. We're going to begin with the sum function. So today we're going to be looking at the sum function, the sum if function, and the sum ifs function. So we'll be knowing and we're going to be looking at when we are going to apply this function. When should you apply the sum function? When should you apply the sum if function? When should you apply the sum ifs function? So let's get started. So I have the score of these various students in SS1 and I want to find the total score for each of them. So since I want to just find the total score, I'll just do equals to sum and then open parentheses. So I'll highlight the number, close the bracket, click on enter. So I can also do the same thing, equals to sum, highlight everything that I want to sum and then close the bracket, hit on enter. But instead of doing that, it take a long time, so I can just autofill. Once this dark cross appears, I'll just autofill and it brings out the various sums of this. So this is the total of each of the students. So you use sum when you want to find the total of each of the students. Here you use the sum function. Alright, so let's begin with, now I want to find the total math score. How do I find the total mathematics score? So I'll equals to sum and then I'm going to highlight all the math score and then hit on enter. So you can see the total math score for all the students is 1301. So when you use the sum function, when there is no condition or when there is no criteria attached, you can see I was looking for all the math, the sum of all the math score. So that is when to use the sum function. So the next function we're going to be looking at today is the sum if function. Sum if function. So when do you use the sum if function? Now you use the sum if function when what you want to sum, you don't want to sum everything, but you just want to sum a particular item based on a criteria. You want to sum a particular item based on a criteria, one criteria. So look at this. I want to sum the total score of students in SS1A. So you can see I want to sum the total score of students, but there is a criteria, and that criteria is that for me to find your total score, you have to be in SS1A. So that is the criteria. So I'll begin by saying equals to sum if, and then the range. Since I want to look for the range, after range is criteria. So my criteria is those in SS1A. So I'll go to where the range of SS1A is. I'll highlight it, comma. So my criteria is going to be SS1A, and the next thing is going to be what? Sum range. So it's the total. I want to find the total score but only for those in SS1A, and you can see it has brought out the total score for only those in SS1A. So you use the sum if function when you want to find the total but not all the total. You want to find the total of a particular, you want it to be just a particular condition. So that is when you use the sum if. Had it been I want to find the total score of students in SS1, all the students, I'll just use the sum function. But now I want to find the total score of all the students, but then they have to be in SS1A. So that is the first criteria. So I'll use the sum if function. Now look, let us do this one. I want to find the total score of students in SS1C. So how do we find this total score of students in SS1C? I'll begin by saying equals to sum if, and then what is the range? I'll go to where the criteria, which is SS1C, I'll go to the column where it is contained and highlight the whole range, and the criteria is going to be SS1C. I'll put it in quotation, and then the sum range is going to be total. So I'll close parentheses, and then you can see it has brought out the total score for those in SS1C. So the last function we're going to look at today is the sum ifs function. So you use the sum ifs function when what you want to sum has more than one criteria. When there is more than one criteria, you use the sum ifs function. But if it is only one criteria, we use the sum function, sum if function. But if it's more than one criteria, you use the sum ifs function. So we have total score of students in SS1A that are male. So you can see I want to find the total score of students that are in SS1A and that are male. I type in the sum ifs function and then the sum range. I want to find the total score. This is going to be my sum range. So my criteria range 1, meaning my first criteria is SS1A. So where is the range where SS1A is contained? So this is the range, and the next one is going to be criteria 1, which is going to be SS1A. The next one is criteria range 2. Now my next criteria is that are male. So where is the range where male is contained is here. So I'll highlight the whole range, and then the next thing is going to be I'll write out the criteria which is male and then close the bracket. So you can see it has brought out the total score of those in SS1 that are male. So you can see the next question, the total mass score, but not just the total mass score, it is the total mass score of students that are female. So how do I begin that? So to begin that, I'll focus to sum ifs. So my sum range is going to be math score, since it's the mathematics score I want to sum. The next one is going to be criteria range 1. So I want to find the student in SS1A. So I will highlight the criteria where the students are contained, and then my first criteria is SS1A. The next one is that are female. So I'll go to where the gender is, highlight the range, and then spell out female, and then close the bracket. Oh, there's an error. That's because this quotation is supposed to be double. So I'll double the quotation and then click on enter. So you can see it has given me the total math score of those in SS1A that are female, and apparently it's only one female that is in SS1A. So that is how to use the sum function. So to recap, the sum function, you use it when there is no condition attached. The sum if function, you use it when you want to sum a particular range that has a condition, just one condition. And then the sum ifs function, you use it when the condition is more than one. So thank you for watching.